Well, welcome everyone to our early session. I'm so glad you were able to join us. And for those of you that are watching the recording, we hope that you are going to enjoy the recording as much as those that are here live. I'm Suzanne Clausen. I own, along with my husband, a CruiseOne vacations franchise in Show Low, Arizona. And we are just so excited that you came to our presentation to learn more about Aurora Expeditions. Now, Steve and I are avid travelers. We believe in the product. And one of the reasons we love our career so much is because we love using our experience that we have traveling to help our clients experience wonderful vacations together. Just some advantages of working with our agency. You've got an insider working on your behalf. We have expert planning assistance. We take the philosophy of one size doesn't fit all. So we have very consultative planning process. We always have a low price guarantee. You will never, ever, ever get a lower price booking directly with a cruise line than you will through us. And help is just one phone call away. There's no long hold queue or anything like that. You call, it's going to either ring to me and I'll pick it up, or it rings to my voicemail, I'll return your call same day. Our business philosophy, we really want to bring to our clients completely unique experiences. And we work with some of our best suppliers like Aurora Expeditions to provide exclusive savings to our guests. And we use our experience as travelers to make sure that we are delivering to our clients the very best vacation experience that they can possibly have. And why we're excited to host our first expedition cruise. We've been to Antarctica twice, and this is as close as we got. That's just from the edge of the ship. And it was beautiful, it was gorgeous, but it wasn't a destination of immersive experience. So again, here's some of our previous visits to Antarctica and to Greenland. Again, as close as we got, except for a couple little cities we went to in Greenland. What we're super excited about is having that up close destination immersive experience in Svalbard or any other destination that Aurora Expeditions would bring us. We like the size of the ship. It's very similar in capacity and size to a river cruise ship. So you're going to have that intimacy that you would have in river cruise, and also kind of similar daily activities where you're going out and doing an activity in the morning and then maybe cruising for a little bit and then having activity in the afternoon. So a little bit more active in terms of your destination immersion than you would have on a super large ocean-going cruise ship. There we go. So in our presentation today, we're going to cover like what's an expedition cruise, what is Aurora Expeditions, the places that they go. People don't know where Svalbard is, so we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about our exclusive savings for those who attended our Zoom session today. So now I'm going to stop sharing this screen and I'm going to introduce you to Bonnie Newman of Aurora Expeditions. And she is going to tell us why Aurora Expeditions should be the next checklist on your bucket list. Great. So hi, Bonnie. So
hi
if
there.
You want to now share your screen.
Definitely. So hopefully you can all see that.
Yep, good.
Oh, great. Well, my name is Bonnie Newman. I am the Business Development Manager with Aurora Expeditions, and we work very, very closely with Suzanne and Steve Clausen from CruiseOne. They're great partners of ours, and they are able to really assist you with all of your travel needs, specifically Aurora Expeditions as well. So a lot of you might think of an expedition as a cruise, but it's very different. So an expedition is really a journey or a voyage undertaken by a group of people with this particular purpose in mind, and that is of exploration and looking and learning about new things and destinations. And that is what Aurora is all about. We are really here to offer you life-changing expeditions. And I do have to tell you that when you're on an Aurora expedition, you will not want to get off. We actually have discussed exit counseling because nobody ever wants to get off of our expeditions. They're that enriching. So a little bit of background on Aurora. We are an Australian company, and we were founded by a gentleman named Greg Mortimer. He is an Australian adventurist. He was the first to climb Mount Everest unassisted without supplemental oxygen. And he has always been at the forefront of expedition travel. So he and his wife started Aurora Expeditions back in 1991, and they led their first Antarctic expedition in 1992. We were also one of the first founding members of IATO, which is the International Association of Antarctica Tour Operators. They're the association that govern all the laws and rules in Antarctica. And then in 1997, we started our first Arctic expedition. We, in 1998, did our first dive trip to Antarctica. We were the first founding member of the Arctic Expedition cruise operator. So you can kind of see our timeline here. We were the first company to launch the X-Bow on our ships, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then in 2021, we became 100% carbon neutral. So really, sustainability and conservation is at the forefront of everything that we do. So we've been around for a really long time. And then, I kind of touched on some of the newer ships. This is what we used for the last 30 years. We used the Polar Pioneer. A lot of people have very fond memories about the Polar Pioneer. It was a Russian icebreaker, and this is what an expedition ship looked like for many, many years. So what makes us a little bit different is our smaller group sizes, and our ships hold about, I'd say, an average of 120. So smaller group sizes, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later. 2 new purpose-built ships. We have expert guides. We're all about education and enrichment with a true sense of adventure. We also offer the world-leading activity program. We're very relaxed on board, very casual, sustainability in action, and we also have a lot of included extras. So when you do book onto an Aurora expedition, we provide airport transfers. There's a pre-voyage accommodation that's included. So the first night will be in a hotel. The second day, on your way to the ship, we include a sightseeing tour. We include shore excursions, any charter flights that might be part of the package, house drinks with dinner. We include tips and gratuities, your port charges, permits, landing fees. We give everybody a 3-in-1 waterproof expedition jacket, and that's yours to keep. Also, we provide use of muck boots during the voyages. We give everybody a recyclable water bottle because we have filling stations all throughout the ship. And then we also have a professional photographer on every voyage. Our expedition team has been with us for many years. We do have the new generation coming on as well, but many of the expedition team that we have been with us over 20 years. They're experts in their fields, and they're very, very knowledgeable. And as I mentioned, we have a world class activity program, and these are the activities that we offer if you want to add on to your expedition. So we offer camping on ice, kayaking, scuba diving, snorkeling, snowshoeing. So as you can see, there's so many activities that you can opt to do in addition to the excursions that we include.
Bonnie, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. If you're not super active, I mean, maybe I'll take the dog for a walk and I'll do a couple miles on the treadmill, something like that. But is somebody like me going to be able to enjoy this expedition cruise as much as somebody who kayaks every day?
Absolutely. I have been down to, Antarctica 3 times. I've kayaked. Now, mind you, I've only kayaked twice in my life before. So, our guides will give you briefings. They'll teach you about the kayak program. Same thing with snorkeling. So anybody really can do that. Now, if you don't want to, and you prefer the zodiacs and the landings and the hikes, that's great too. So
I think
it's
more
really
my speed.
Yeah,
have a
it's really,
kayak, but it's just an inflatable one that I take out to the lake. I'm not paddling every day.
yeah, yeah. Our programs are full programs. So if you were to sign up for the kayaking, it reserves your spot to do it every day, whether you choose to do it or not. I did it. I think next time I might try the snowshoeing, but I love the zodiacs and the landings and the hikes. So let's talk about where we go. We're known for the polar regions, so the Arctic and the Antarctic. And I want to switch over to the Arctic because this is where Suzanne and Steve are escorting a trip to Svalbard. And the Arctic is where you're going to have the best chance of seeing polar bears and Arctic fox and reindeer. No penguins. The penguins are south, but the Arctic is a very different experience. So the trip is Svalbard in depth, June 26th to July 10th. So it's a 15-day trip. And a lot of people might say, where's Svalbard? I've never heard of it. How do you say it? So this is the Svalbard archipelago. It belongs to Norway. And as you can see, it's way past the Arctic Circle. The trip specifically circumnavigates Svalbard. So you'll be close to 80 degrees north, and that's where we search for polar bears on the pack ice. You'll see walrus, seals, whales, etc. So we cruise along the glacier fronts, and then we also offer tundra hikes. So those are some of the highlights. On a more detailed itinerary, what we include, as I mentioned, the transfer from the airport to the hotel, one night's hotel accommodation, including breakfast in Longyearbyen, which is the gateway to Svalbard. Half a day sightseeing tour on your way to the ship. And then all of your, obviously, accommodations on board, your meals, snacks, coffee, tea. We do include beer and house wine and drinks with dinner. There are captain's welcome and farewell receptions. All your short excursions, Zodiac cruises, all the lectures, guiding services, complimentary access to the doctor and medical clinic if you need that. As I mentioned earlier, you'll get to keep your waterproof polar jacket. We have muck boots for your use during the cruise. Pre-departure information, of course, we always include that. All of your gratuities, port charges, permits, and landing fees. And I did want to also mention we do include Wi-Fi complimentary as well. So on day one, what we do is we pick you up. We have a hospitality desk set up at the hotel. And when you check into the hotel, you'll get your Aurora Expeditions baggage tags for your luggage. You'll get to meet some of your fellow travelers, as well as meet some of the team members on the Aurora Expeditions team. Usually we use the Radisson Blu Polar Hotel, so very nice accommodations there. So after breakfast, you'll check out. You can explore the town on your own. We do take you on a half-a-day sightseeing tour, and they'll tell you what time to be ready the next morning. You would leave your luggage either in the lobby or outside your door, and then we'll collect that for you. You also visit the Svalbard Museum before getting to the ship in the late afternoon. And then once you come on board, you'll settle into your cabin. And then we have our mandatory safety briefings. We'll do a sail away party, and then we'll have the first welcome dinner, as well as a briefing. So days 3 through 14 are going to be all over the Svalbard archipelago. The reason that we don't list specific destinations is because on an expedition, everything is weather dependent. So if we are looking to go to one place and for some reason the weather conditions won't permit it, then we can look for alternate landing sites. So that's why whenever you see a itinerary from an expedition company, they're never quite detailed, and that's exactly why. And then at the end of the cruise, we disembark back in Longyearbyen. We don't suggest booking flights before noon. And the night before, we have a farewell party, a briefing, usually a slideshow of the entire journey. And this is the saddest day of the trip because you have to say goodbye to everybody. This particular voyage is on the Sylvia Earle. The Sylvia Earle is a brand new ship that just came out. The first sailing was December 9th, and I was fortunate to be on it. It's a beautiful ship. As I mentioned, our ships average about 120 guests, which is perfect for expeditions. This is we have a Citizen Science Center, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So the Citizen Science Center is downstairs and the library is upstairs. Our cabins are gorgeous. You can do double beds or single beds, depending on, your request. When you come on board, your jacket is waiting for you in your room, as well as a water bottle. This is looking, so the picture I showed you a minute ago was the Citizen Science Center and the library. This is looking down those stairs. So this is at the very front. On the left-hand side, you see those triangular windows. So this is looking out of those windows.
Gosh, so gorgeous.
And then we have our lecture lounge, the picture on the right, and we do have monitors throughout the room. So if you can't see the very front, you do have the monitors to see. We have 2 bars. So we've got our observation lounge on deck 8. This is a great area to sit and just kind of watch the outside go by. And then deck 5 lounge is right outside the lecture theater and the restaurant. Sylvia Earle has 2 hot tubs as well as a heated pool. We've got a fully equipped gym. The main restaurant on deck 5. So breakfast and lunch are buffet, and dinner you order off of a menu. It's a la carte. It's open seating, and they'll call you down to dinner at whatever time. And so it's not assigned seating and it's not assigned time. So you can go anytime within the dinner time frame. Most people go between 7 and 7:30. Sylvia Earle also has the Rockhopper restaurant on deck 8. And this is an enclosed restaurant. There's no additional charge, but it is reservations only. And this is where you can get your chops and steaks and side orders that are served family style. It's phenomenal. And you can eat there as many times as you like. Our ships have a mudroom, which is great because you don't have to carry all of your wet equipment up to your room. So you'll be assigned a locker for the duration of the trip. And you can store your muck boots, your life vests, your jackets, if you have walking sticks, whatever it is that you want to leave downstairs, you can do that. We do have 17 Zodiacs that we use, and we store them all on board. The food is phenomenal. And some of the other destinations that we go to, aside from Svalbard, is Scotland, Iceland, Greenland, Ireland. These are some of the other itineraries. So we just talked about Svalbard in depth. Iceland is a circumnavigation as well. We do incorporate some motor coaches to go to the interior sightseeing areas, and you'll come across villages and things like that. The Greenland Odyssey is a new one for us, and this is great because it covers East and West Greenland. And the Northwest Passage. So we offer a Northwest Passage that goes halfway through, and we also offer the one that goes all the way from Greenland all the way to Alaska. So we do have this one as well.
Someday.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that one as well. The Northern Lights Explorer is one that we offer in September. Ireland and Scotland we're offering in May. And in 2024, we're offering just Scotland. Canary Islands, Azores, Cape Verde is offered this year. Next year, we're offering Chilean fjords. So you'll see that one in a minute here. So the Chilean fjords, I think this is a phenomenal itinerary because you can actually get off the ship and hike through Torres del Paine National Park. You spend the night there, and then you continue on the next day and pick up the ship on the other end. So I think it's phenomenal, and it's going to be very, very popular. So we just came out with this one. And then Wild Scotland, which I had the opportunity to do last year, and it was phenomenal. I thought I knew Scotland, and when I went on this trip, I saw things that I never would have imagined. So let's quickly talk about Antarctica, because that is the other region that we specialize in. You know, I get asked a lot of questions about, oh, since you're an Australian company, do you sail from Australia? No, we don't. We sail from South America because you can see here, it's the closest point to Antarctica. So just crossing between the southernmost tip of South America to the Antarctic Peninsula, it takes about 36 hours. We do have some options where you can fly across, but I like the sail across when you sail across the Drake Passage because you get a lot of lectures and things like that that you can take in. But we do have that option. A lot of activities that we offer in Antarctica as well. So skiing, camping, kayaking, snorkeling, scuba diving, and snowshoeing. And the penguins are everywhere. There's actually penguin highways, and if you see one coming down the highway, they have the right of way, so you have to get out of the way. So included activities, the polar plunge. This is a once in a lifetime thing. I highly suggest doing that on our trips. We include guided hikes, photography, and the Zodiac cruises. And then if you want to add on, you can add on the kayaking and the paddle boards and snorkeling, etc. Yeah, I would like to do the snowshoeing. It looks great. To load the kayaks, we've got an inflatable dock, and so that's how we load the kayaks. And we have all the equipment on board, as well as the briefings and, all of your dry suits and life vests, and everything is right there on board for you. And when you're kayaking, you have little friends that could come up and say hello.
Love it.
And the citizen science program. So we offer this on every one of our trips. The Sylvia Earle, I showed you the Citizen Science Center. That is an unbelievable space. So what we do is we participate in actual research projects, and we, along with our guests that decide to participate, we report back to these organizations. And these are the ones that we're currently involved in. So I got involved in the microplastics, and I thought it was just fascinating. So earlier I touched on the size of the ship, and in Antarctica specifically, the size of the ship is very, very important. So all the human activities in Antarctica are regulated by an Antarctic treaty. And two of these rules apply directly to the ship size. So vessels with more than 500 passengers cannot make landings in Antarctica. You can basically do just a drive-by and just see everything. A maximum of 100 passengers can be ashore from a vessel at any one time. So if a ship has 200 passengers, 100 people can get off the ship while the other 100 wait on board, and then they rotate. So, you may do 2 landings in a day because you don't have a lot of time, since you have to wait for the other 100 to come on before you can get off. So our ships hold about 120, and about 40 people participate in kayaking and snorkeling and all of our other activities. So what that means is we can take everybody that's left on board, so 80 to 100, we can take everybody on land at the same time. So nobody has to wait and rotate. And what that means is we maximize the time you're on land. And oftentimes you can do 2 to 3 landings a day, where most companies can only offer 0 to 2. So the size of the ships are very important. So I talked about the Sylvia Earle. So our other ship is the Greg Mortimer, named after our founder. Both ships are the same size, so they both hold an average of 120. And I say average because sometimes we'll get singles and sometimes we'll get triples. So, but an average of 120. When I went to Scotland, we had 77. So it just varies quite a bit. So the Greg Mortimer is very similar to the Sylvia Earle. The rooms are extremely comfortable. 99% of the rooms on both ships have walkout balconies. We also have heated bathroom floors. So it's great when you come in after your morning excursion. If your gloves are a little bit wet, you can lay them on the bathroom floor. But it's also nice when you step out of the shower to have a heated floor as well. This is the lecture theater on the Greg Mortimer, the library, the gym, the sauna. We also have a spa on board. This is the main dining room. So it's very, very similar to the Sylvia Earle. However, on the Greg Mortimer, we also do barbecues up on deck 8. So there's a grill, and we do some really fun barbecues. And we have a lot of space on our ship. So we have a lot of glass windows and a lot of deck space. So, when the expedition leader spots a pod of whales on the left side of the ship, and everybody runs to the side of the ship. On the larger ships, you could be standing 4 deep. Well, on our ships, you don't have that problem. Like, everyone can have their own spot against the rail because there's so much space on board.
Yeah, I'm looking at those pictures and comparing them to my large ship experiences in Greenland and Antarctica. And it's wall-to-wall people, and you're having to kind of wait for somebody to step away to get your picture. This is much more immersive. This is really amazing.
Exactly. So we have a lot of deck space, and all the rooms pretty much have balconies. So there's never really a lot of people to have to deal with. So when I participate in the kayaking, you can see there is a full briefing. So any beginner can do it as well. And that's me on the right. So it was really fun. And these were the snowshoers and the snorkelers, snorks for short. And everyone just had a great time.
Now, those activities are only offered, the snorkeling, the snowshoeing in Antarctica, because in the Arctic, you got to make sure that you're not running into polar bears.
Yeah,
Right?
so we do offer the kayaking in the Arctic. And some of the destinations there could be like the paddling and things like that. So, and they're also weather dependent. So for example, the scuba diving, even in Antarctica, we wouldn't offer until January and February. So a lot of them are still weather dependent as well. And it's just, I did the kayaking for 1 day, and the rest of the time I was out on the hikes and the Zodiac rides and everything. And it was just super fun. And this was one afternoon, we were all out on deck and just having a ball. And this is on Elephant Island, big elephant seals. They look like rocks. And one afternoon I wasn't paying attention and I almost tripped on one of them because they blend in. Of course, the penguins are everywhere. And the polar plunge.
You were
I
so brave.
highly recommend it. So we do have an Arctic plunge as well. So, and then, where we go, we always keep track of where we go. And I love this because, when you're doing 2 or 3 landings a day, every day, you kind of forget where you've been unless you were able to keep up on your journal or, on Facebook. And anyway, so we always have a map of where we've been and what day. And this is a picture of our expedition team. And then our expedition team with all of us. And we also offer trekking programs in Chile, Argentina, and Scotland. And then I just wanted to share some of the photos of my Scotland trip because it was phenomenal. So when I went into my cabin, my water bottle and jacket were waiting for me, and the food was phenomenal. And our barbecue outdoors, we had sun every single day. And just the scenery, the puffins, the birds, the wildlife, everything was just so beautiful. And this was my favorite day. So this was on Staffa, and some of you may have heard of Fingal's Cave. Well, to the right, that is Fingal's Cave, made out of basalt. And we really went exploring the island. We saw the puffins, and then we explored caves with the zodiacs. And that afternoon, we were chased by the dolphins. And we got to visit the Callanish stones, which are very similar to Stonehenge, on the Isle of Lewis and St. Kilda, and the Broch of Musa and the Shetland Islands. And this is an old historical house. And you go inside and the historian will tell you all about it. Fula, we did a hike to the other side of the island, and you can see how gorgeous it was there on the right. Cave exploring on the zodiacs, just so much fun. And this was our expedition team there. And one thing I wanted to mention before we finish is we do require everybody to be vaccinated with a booster. We do test before you embark, and then also once during the cruise. It's typically on day 2, we do also do a test. We have a fully equipped medical center with a doctor, nurse, and medic on board. Another really important feature about our ships is that it's 100% fresh air. We do not recirculate our air on board. We do have a couple of promotions out there right now. So if there's any solo passengers that are interested in going to the Arctic this year in 2023, we do have an offer where there's no single supplement. And that is no single supplement on the full fare price. So you can see it there, but you can also see it on our website. So no single supplement off of the full price.
It looks like the one that we're doing as a escorted cruise there on June 26th also has that available.
Yes, we have it on all of these, and that one as well. And then you can also have a $600 air credit or a complimentary activity. So if you are really into kayaking and you want to do Svalbard in depth, which is the one we are hosting, we do offer kayaking on that one, and you could have a choice of $600 air credit or kayaking. And we do have a special offer specifically for Svalbard in depth, and that is going to be a 30% off of the full price. And if there's any other expedition that you're interested in, whether it's Antarctica, the Canary Islands, Chilean fjords, any of those, we are offering an extra 5% off any expedition up to a 25% discount, and that is good for 2 weeks after today.
Okay, and Bonnie, where do people call to get that offer?
So you'll have to call Suzanne and Steve, and they'll be able to get that offer for you.
All right, thanks, Bonnie. All right, is that, oh, wow, look at
Actually, so
that.
let me ask a couple questions here
That's
then.
beautiful. Yeah,
So for the one we're doing, Svalbard in depth at the end of June, I assume that's pretty much midnight sun. It's going to be daylight 24
It
hours.
will
Is that
be
correct?
daylight, yes, just about 24 hours.
Another question, I guess, when you're doing the hikes, doing the, across the tundra and stuff like that, do y'all recommend that people have walking poles or what? I mean, is that
You know, it's
optional?
really,
I
yeah,
never used them, so.
it's really up to the individual. We do have them on board.
Okay.
You can also ask if, you can ask our team on board if they recommend walking sticks. I typically bring mine and I leave them in my, my mudroom locker. And if I decide I need them on a specific day, I'll just bring them out with me. But we do have them on board too.
You do have them on board, okay. And then how heavy, the expedition jacket that you guys provide, how heavy is that? Is that enough of a jacket or?
Yes, it's a 3-in-1. So there's an inner layer, there's the outer layer, and you can wear them separately or together. I've always worn them together.
Okay.
okay, so it has a zip out lining.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, because I'm thinking I won't want to bring a coat, but I gotta get to the boat first. So
Exactly. Yeah, I would recommend bringing a like a lighter jacket for along your bin, and then when you get on board, just use your expedition jacket.
Okay.
I'm going to stop sharing now. Is that okay?
yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And then I have one little closing slide that I'm going to share with everybody just to kind of wrap it up and thank everyone for coming, whether you're live or why is it the share bar is not coming up? I need to go to exit full screen and then my share bar comes up there. That's what I needed to do. So here's my little closing slide that I have. So call me for no obligation quote. Repeat. June 26th is a Svalbard in-depth expedition with our exclusive 30% off pricing. Steve and I will be escorting that cruise. We already booked. We got our flights. We're super excited. And then, as Bonnie mentioned in her slide, we have an extra 5% up to a total of 25% off any other Aurora Expeditions cruise. And is that for 23 or 24? What's the sale date for those?
It can be either 23 or 24.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna stop sharing that.
And that's if they're booked in the next 2 weeks as well. So there's a
That's
time limit on that.
correct.
Yes, you have to be
That's
booked in the
correct.
next 2 weeks and call my agency to book. So I'll stop sharing that. And I think we're ready to just say thank you to everyone
Do we have
and
any
in the
questions?
recording. Do we have
Sylvia,
any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, then let's stop the recording. Steve, are you able to do that?
Mm-hmm.